Hello, my name is Megan Figueroa. I'm a student at Unity College and I'm studying animal science. Today we're going to be talking about mastitis and nutrition. Mastitis is inflammation of mammary tissue. It can either become inflamed by trauma or microorganisms. When a dairy cow gets mastitis, its milk is no longer usable and it is not able to be sold. The farmer then doesn't make any money from selling his milk and actually has more bills to pay because he has to pay for treatment for the mastitis and maybe even a veterinarian to come out and check his cow out. Most mastitis occurs in the first 2 weeks after lactation. This means we need to be very careful about the ration that we feed to these cows that are in the dry-off group. Most of us know that mastitis occurs for many reasons, but we're going to look specifically at nutrition and how we can boost the cow's immunity so they can fight off infection, including mastitis. I have found that in my research that these vitamins and minerals are regularly found in the forages that are fed to the dairy cattle, but over time, as the food sits, the amount that is in there decreases. This is why it is important to test the feed regularly and see what those levels are and see where we need to supplement. It is especially important to supplement transition cows. Those are cows that are going into dry off. According to Progressive Dairy, increasing the amount of vitamin E at dry off will help boost the immune system so that they can fight off any infection, including mastitis. One of the more interesting things I learned was that copper aids in neutrophil production. And neutrophils are white blood cells, so that's really important because our white blood cells is what fights off infection. After giving birth, cows are at a higher risk of getting hypocalcemia and ketosis, and this makes them a higher risk for mastitis. This brings the immune system down by having lower levels of calcium, so it is important to be checking the blood levels regularly to see where they're at and supplementing where necessary. I think it's important to mention that a diet lacking these specific minerals will not cause mastitis. There are many other causes for mastitis, such as environment, things like that, but a proper diet will help build immunity so that the cow will not get the mastitis infection. As you can see, any sort of imbalance puts the cow at higher risk of getting mastitis. The farm where my husband works is stepping away from feeding grain that already has the minerals mixed in. Instead, they are now feeding loose minerals. This way, they can supplement each stage of lactation appropriately, and if there's a problem, they can adjust it accordingly. When I was trying to find the connection between nutrition and mastitis recurrence, the key that I found was immunity. We really need to be building these cows' immunity so they can fight off any infection that comes their way, whether it be mastitis or something else. These cows right here are eating a mix of some corn, hay, soybeans, and vitamins and minerals that we'll talk about a little bit later. When I started this project, I didn't know exactly where it was going to go. I'm excited I got to learn about all these different minerals and how they can be used at different times at different parts of the lactation. I spent a fair amount of time talking with the owner of the farm, discussing all the different minerals and the different stages of lactation and what was needed. And he's working with a new nutritionist who is helping him figure out what is lacking and what is needed and how to have the healthiest cows possible.